The real money of cybersports is simply unreal, not only in the sense that there is a lot of it, but also because it can disappear at any moment, bursting like a soap bubble. I hadn't heard anything about it, but it turns out there's been a global drama going on for a year, if not more, called the fazeclan financial crisis. It seemed to me, as well as many from the outside, that they were doing great. They were in great shape, winning tournaments with big prizes, raking in the cash from stickers, and living the good life. But in reality, the problems of FaZe turned out to be so serious that they have to literally fight for survival. Let's try to understand today how such magic is possible in the magical world of cybersport. Buckle up, it's going to be interesting. Hi everyone, and before all the bubbles burst, including the stock market bubbles, and the truth appears before us in the costume of Adam and Eve, subscribe to the channel, put your incredible like, and go! Fry your enemies with top skins. Enter the code from the screen on the site GGDROP and get plus 11% to deposit and free spin. Why are so many teams in financial trouble in the first place? The fact is that the sphere of cybersports is a bubble, which is inflating more and more every year. For those who, like me, are encountering this term for the first time, I will explain it as simply as possible. A bubble is when the value of an asset is determined by hype and expectations, rather than something that can be touched and, if necessary, sold. Investors are investing in cybersport not for the sake of a quick profit, but for a position in a promising market. What does the phrase "that kid with balls" mean? Usually it means that someone has a strong character, but this spring the expression will get a new meaning, not excluding, by the way, the first. After all, on GGDROP starts a new Easter event, in which you can collect the top promo code, watching videos on the channel GGDROP and finding them Easter in the form of eggs containing letters from the promo code. This spring, with eggs will be all. Naturally, first of all, the money goes to large organizations because their business model is very simple. If management manages to gather and keep a strong roster that will win tournaments and attract sponsors, then it has done its job. This scheme is clear to any investor, and so the clubs get a huge flow of money, increasing every year. And since the main asset of any organization is its players, their salaries and transfer value are also rising strongly. Think about it. 15 years ago, the best players in the world received $2,000 a month, and were very happy with such a big salary. They traveled to tournaments in economy class, stayed in budget hotels, organized boot camps in apartments, and did not even think of complaining about it. And today, ZywOo alone earns 100,000 euros a month. This is more than NiP received for winning the first CSGO majors. That's how it turned out that many organizations, especially the big ones, have long ago forgotten how to recoup the costs of maintaining a team. Sponsorship contracts bring in some money, but it's often not even enough for salaries, and many clubs exist on the backs of investors who continue to fund the organizations in hopes of a payback in the future. Let's say you have a -1 team, good sponsors, and world fame. The team has the best players in the world, and they constantly get offers from competitors for salaries of 20, 30, and sometimes even more $1,000. You have to periodically increase salaries to keep players from being overbought, and by doing so, you are still adding air to this bubble. In order to stay afloat and not go under, you exist at the expense of investors who give you money in the hope that in the future you will bring them a profit. As long as they give money, everything goes well, but one day, anything can happen. From a trivial quarrel between players, which will worsen the results, to economic or political crises. And if investors stop investing, how long will you be able to survive, given that you need 150,000 euros a month for salaries alone? In such circumstances, your organization, seemingly so large and successful, can collapse in just a couple of months. Just like a bubble, when the money comes in steadily and there is enough for everything, teams stop taking it seriously enough and allow themselves ill-considered and sometimes just stupid spending. That's exactly what happened to the FaZe, who by 2022 had become such a large organization that they were spending an estimated 59 million a year. Well, some of their investments, let's call it that, are nothing short of insane. They once agreed to shoot a commercial with rapper Lil Yachty, but at some point management decided to move the shoot date up, causing the rapper to ask for double the fee. He was paid, but no one has ever been able to explain why it was necessary to double the fee to shoot the video a few days earlier. Also, FaZe liked to spend a huge amount of money on real estate. By 2021, their rental expenses were about $15 million, which went to villas for the organization's residents. And in July of that year, they held an exclusive private party in San Diego that cost $1,700,000. One party was worth more than the entire prize pool of the majors. In March 2022, FaZe kicked in a few $1,000,000 to rapper Snoop Dogg and gave him a seat on the board of directors, hoping that he would promote the organization and shoot content for it to make money on the stock price. But they were wrong. Snoop Dogg just took his fee and left after a year without showing a shred of interest in developing FaZe. An understandable question may arise: why did they do it? Is it really just to get jaded and lose all shores like some crazy movie stars? No, that would be too easy. All these events, villas, and parties were needed to show how cool and successful FaZe is, and thus attract new investors who will continue to inflate this bubble with their money, or to build a pyramid, as one likes it. Of course, such schemes cannot work forever, and in early 2022, the first rumors about FaZe's financial problems spread across the internet. Things were so bad that the organization risked bankruptcy in just a few months. And then, the owners of FaZe had to resort to the SPAC procedure. This is when organizers create an empty company, attract investors there, and put on the stock exchange a firm that does not carry out any activity. This is done so that in the future the organizers of SPAC can conduct a merger procedure with another organization, for example fazeclan, and help it to enter the stock exchange where you can trade shares. FaZe went public on the NASDAQ stock exchange thanks to the fact that they merged with a pre-built company that was stuffed with investor money, and at the time, each share was worth $20, and the entire company was valued at $750 million. A record amount for cybersports. It seemed that the financial problems were solved, but SPAC companies have one important nuance. Initially, when investors create a shell company, they do not know with whom they will merge it in the end. When they learned that SPAC had merged with the cybersports organization FaZe, investors were displeased and began withdrawing their money. Perhaps their discontent stemmed from the fact that the investors read Forbes. And journalist Forbes noted that during its existence, the organization FaZe has never been profitable by the end of the reporting period, most of the funds it received at the expense of investments. Specifically, for the first 3 quarters of 2022, its revenue totaled $48.6 million, of which only $14 million was earned from advertising and prize money. So, investors began to withdraw their money and the shares went down sharply. Their price from $20 fell to 40 cents in less than 6 months. As a result, FaZe had to start delisting procedure, leaving the stock exchange. Well, the happiness just keeps on coming, and you can't stop it. Seeing that FaZe was doing badly and the reputational risks were off the scale, big brands started to cut off cooperation with the company, depriving FaZe of advertising revenue as well. As a result, the fazeclan brand, which was valued at $750 million in the summer of 2022, was purchased by GameSquare Holding for $17 million in the spring of 2023. The new bosses fired 40% of the staff and started putting things in order. Perhaps this explains the phenomenal series of FaZe victories that began immediately after the release of CS2. If you want to live, you will not play like this. Somewhere I heard that the whole world economy is a huge bubble, but after I learned the story of fazeclan, even to think about it is kind of creepy. And why bother? Because as long as we have KC, we can play for fun and let the financiers worry about global things. Subscribe to the channel, put a like, and wait for notifications about new videos. It will be hot! Bright Rinks and Cool Zarubi to my favorite viewers. See you soon.